New Zealand refuses to accuse China of genocide against Uyghurs in break with Western allies. The New Zealand Parliament has expressed grave concern about China's alleged treatment of Uyghur Muslims, but in a break from its Five Eyes spy network partners, which includes the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, the government has refused to call it a genocide. Now, there's a couple of reasons why New Zealand might have decided to do this. Number one, there is no genocide taking place in Xinjiang, China. There isn't. This is a lie the US has made up. The claims that they have made and the evidence that they've produced has already been exposed as fabrications. The US has a long history of doing this. The lead up to the 2003 invasion of Iraq, for example, the US accused the Iraqi government of having weapons of mass destruction. It was a deliberate lie used to justify US military aggression against Iraq. And even as the country struggles against constant conflict ever since, the US did the exact same thing in neighboring Syria, literally the next country over. They also lied about WMDs to justify US military aggression against the Syrian government, and also to justify their continued occupation of eastern Syria. And think about this. The US is accusing China with no evidence of locking up 1 million Uyghurs in Xinjiang. The US, in front of the entire world, murdered 1 million Iraqis, predicated on an absolute lie, a deliberate lie, WMDs. So if you were in the government of New Zealand, would you want to continuously align yourself with a country that tells lie after lie, destroying one nation after the other, creating conflict all around the globe, and destroying its own credibility in the process? Do you want to continue doing that? Think about it. In 10 years' time, if you're New Zealand, do you want to be aligned with the US still, knowing that they're going to continue in that direction? Or do you want to be aligned with a country like China that has a more constructive role to play, both in the region where New Zealand is located and globally? It seems like an easy decision to make to me. Number two, does the government in New Zealand want to align itself with the US, whose strategy to maintain primacy over the Indo-Pacific region involves encircling China, creating conflict and chaos to keep the entire region down so that even the US in decline can maintain hegemony over it? Or does New Zealand want to be part of a Asia that is on the rise, prosperous, cooperating, building everything up, building infrastructure across the entire region? This is going to directly benefit New Zealand itself. Again, it's a very easy decision to make. Now, the thing we have to keep our eye on here is these politicians in New Zealand's government who said this was the wrong decision, that New Zealand should have gotten in line with the West and called it a genocide. We know that the US isn't going to just say, okay, well, New Zealand, you're free to decide whatever you want. We know they're going to put tremendous pressure on New Zealand to reverse this decision. And if not, they're going to create political instability in New Zealand to get these, they call it right-wing Act New Zealand Party, to get people like this into power and to get back in line with the West. And we can imagine a couple of scenarios they could do this through, things that would kind of give parties like this the edge in an election. So they, whatever sort of incident that could be staged to bolster public support for these groups versus the people in power now, making the right decisions for New Zealand's future. Keep an eye on that. If you thought this video was useful, please like and share it. Think about subscribing. It helps the channel grow, and it's free to do. Look in the video description for the link to this article, as well as for ways you can help support my work. To everyone that is supporting my work, thank you so much. It makes all of this possible. And as always, thank you for watching.